So I want to welcome us to another morning analysis. Good morning, Madam Manaji. Today is the 2nd of July, 2025. At the beginning of every month, I always try to cheer us up to evaluate our progress. We just ended the first half of 2025. Now, second half, what has been your progress like as a trader? Have you been profitable? Have you improved in your knowledge, or your strategy, or everything generally to make you profitable as a trader? You need to constantly evaluate yourself and be sure that you're making progress. Because this is the second half of the year. What are your goals for 2025? Have you been able to meet? Even if it's a percentage you've met successfully, it's still a good thing, or you're still trying to catch up. Take time, evaluate your progress and see if you're really making some progress or not. If you're not, then you need to look back and check out whatever you're doing wrong. Especially in the area of discipline. One of the most difficult aspects for traders is that of discipline. You need to be disciplined. Discipline with your strategy. Patience to see that things, your setup works out before you pick a trade. Working on fear and greed. You need to take note of all these things to become a profitable trader. I'm still admitting more people into this call, so let's just get started now. All right. So that being said, let's roll into what we have today. Now, we have just two events today. One is tradable, the other one is just a speech. And the first one is the ADP non-farm employment change, which will come up from the United States by 1:15 p.m. this afternoon. So technically, this morning session, we don't have any tradable fundamental. So I'll just go straight to the chart. ADP non-farm employment change just comes up a couple of days before the release of NFP, which will be this Friday. Don't forget, on Friday, we are having our NFP. NFP is non-farm employment change. It's the biggest news in the forex market, and it's all usually a volatile one. So I encourage you to be a part of the live trading session this Friday by 1:15 p.m. You need a funded account to attend this session, so make sure you have funds in your account because we're going to be dropping live signals for NFP, and we are going to be making money on Friday. You don't want to miss it. Fund the account and be a part of that session. So this afternoon, when ADP non-farm employment change is going to be released, this news measures the estimated change in the number of employed people during the previous month, excluding the farming industry and government. So the farming industry and government, they are excluded from this data. And actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So by 1:15 p.m., well, if the data comes out good, it means we're buying the dollar. And if it comes out bad, it means we're selling the dollar. I don't want to go much into this because it will still be done by the afternoon session. I mean, it will still be done during the afternoon session analysis. So I'll just go straight to the chart to show you what my outlook is. Now, the market has been very, very unstable and quiet in the last couple of weeks, but then once in a while, we're still able to get some good setup that leads to tradable, that becomes tradable. Let me just use that word. Now, yesterday afternoon, when I was giving my analysis of dollar, I gave my view. I said that I was seeing dollar. If you are part of the analysis, remember I said I saw USDC forming an inverse head and shoulder and breaking out. And we're at the verge of that breakout as we speak. Price is at the verge of that breakout as we speak. That's because price hits a support level or a lower low on the monthly time frame. And on the 1 hour, we're about to see a bounce of, that particular zone. But you see price bouncing off that zone. All right, so that's the lower low. Price is dropping lower on the monthly time frame, dropping lower. And from this point, I said yesterday we anticipate a breakout in the bullish direction. And we're at the verge of that breakout as we speak. If we take it down to 1 hour time frame, we can clearly see that we have a falling wedge and an inverse head and shoulder pattern forming. So we will rather wait for RSI to go clearly above 50. It's just at 51. We want something much more clearer than that. Oh, NFP is not tomorrow. NFP is usually on Fridays. It's usually on Fridays, so it doesn't take place any other day aside. Okay, I think let me check. Oh, I think you have a point. Thanks for that. All right, I think NFP is tomorrow. Thanks for that update to Yellow. I think there's going to be a holiday in the US on Friday. So because of that, the NFP has been shifted to Thursday, which is tomorrow. Thanks for that update to Yellow. That's really appreciated. And that shows really following up on what's happening in the market. So let's take note. NFP is going to be tomorrow, third, not tomorrow, Thursday, which is 3rd of July, not Friday. But then we still communicate that to everyone in our respective groups to be aware and prepare ahead for the news tomorrow. All right. So like I said, USD we want to see price, clearly break out beyond this region. Possibly my RSI closing far above the current level, and even my MACD in this instance. I want to see MACD cross above zero, but technically we are very, very bullish on the dollar. I'm very, very bullish on the dollar. And the news this afternoon, the ADP non-farm employment change will go a long way in pushing price in the bullish direction. So even ahead of the NFPI, ADP NFPI, hold the bullish outlook. But what about the scenario if the data comes out bad for the dollar? There's nothing to worry about that. If the data comes out bad for the dollar, I say price will drop back to that, a lower low trend line on the monthly time frame and eventually still, find its way up. So either ways, I'm still bullish. So, but then for more clarity, I would rather advise you wait for that data to be released so that we will know. Because if you enter a buy and the data comes out bad for the dollar, price may drop back to the previous support, which will throw you into a drawdown. So it's just good to wait for that data to be released. Then the data comes out good, just trigger a buy straight and we'll make some profits trading the USDCHF. So I hold a bullish outlook on the USDCHF. Now, the other pair I'm looking at today is the Euro card. I've been on this pair for some days. The Euro card, both the Euro card and GV card, but that GV card looks more like a swing. But for now, I want to just focus on the intraday setup. All right, so I found it. So this is Euro card on the 1 hour time frame. But then on the 1 hour time frame, we are seeing a rising wedge pattern, where we anticipate price will break out lower. But that rising wedge is also resting on the resistance level from the weekly time frame. This is a weekly time frame. We have a resistance, a very, very strong resistance level on the weekly time frame. So that's at top down. We have resistance on weekly and we have a rising range on 1 hour. So we're going to be anticipating a breakout in the bearish direction for the Euro card. At the point of breakout, price is expected to break out below this, trend line, the lower trend line, and our RSI is expected to cross below 50. It's very important. If those 2 points are achieved, then you can safely trigger a sell on the Euro card as we anticipate price, will make its way downwards. So a bearish on the Euro card. These are the two major pairs I'm looking at today. Yeah, I know some of us are gold lovers. I mentioned my outlook on gold yesterday afternoon. I said I was seeing an inverse head and shoulder forming, and it's still forming. So If the dollar is bullish, we expect a further drop on gold. Now it's going to be a temporary one, but that's what I believe will likely happen from my analysis. I'm seeing gold may drop a little further as the dollar pushes up. Gold will drop, but then eventually, when gold completes this inverse head and shoulder, we're going to launch up, on the average of between 500 to 1,300 pips. So let's still watch out. Gold is not safe for trading now until it drops and breaks out above this neckline region. Until it drops and breaks out above that level, I'll advise you just watch. But wait, if it breaks out above this level, yes, we see a very massive bullish breakout, which can move as much as between 500 to 1,300 pips on gold. All right, so these are the three instruments I'll be analyzing for us this morning. I've analyzed three instruments. I said I'm bullish on the USD CHF and on 1 hour. I'm bearish on Euro CAD on 1 hour. And temporarily, I'm bearish on gold, on 4 hour. But that's just a retracement before the major movement, which is expected to be bullish. All right, so that'll be all this morning. Don't forget, thanks for the correction from Mr. Oyelawa that tomorrow is NFP. Let's put that in our calendar and join us by 1:15 p.m. tomorrow, as we trade the NFP line. All right, so that'll be all for now. Just watch out for the link to this video. It will drop in your WhatsApp group. You can watch it again to get acquainted with how the market will move today. Okay, Progress is asking me to check US card. So this is US card. The previous resistance turn support. So it's a key level, support, resistance, turn support. So currently price is testing that area. You can see that current weekly candle looks like it's forming a rejection candle. But it's still early in the week. Anything can happen because of the week. But generally, the dollar is bullish. Even on the dollar index, we have a bullish outlook on the dollar. But the thing is that we're not having a very good formation, even though we have a bullish outlook on the USD card, we're not really having a good formation of an entry for now. So personally, for me, I will not really be looking much at the USD card. But if you have an existing trade on USD card and it's a bullish one, well, you may just hold on and leave it. But I'm not really getting a clear-cut entry setup at the moment for it. I hope that answered your request. That's for Progress. Does anybody have any other requests to drop as a roundup? New Zealand, JPY, and USD Jeff Michael. Okay, let's check the Euro CHF first. Now for Euro CHF, this instrument has been in the range for quite some time, since April. You can see that on the 4 hour. It's been ranging, and we might expect some, movement in the bullish direction because there's this support from this region again. And you can see rejection candles over there on the 4 hour time frame. You can see this set of rejection candles. We may see some bullish movement on the Euro CHF. So let's take it down to a lower time frame, like 1 hour and possibly 15 minutes. But then I think the 1 hour is just good for now. On the 1 hour time frame, like I said, rejection candles forming possibly an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which may make price to target the resistance level above. Okay, with a falling wedge pattern. Usually Euro CHF it does range a lot, so it's not out of place to have this kind of setup. So we have a falling wedge and an inverse head and shoulder forming. Now you can trigger a buy if price breaks out above the trend line. At that point, it will really have broken above the neckline region also. and then ensure that your RSI is clearly above 50. So for that person asking about Euro CHF, yes, we're bullish, but we're waiting for price to break out above the neckline region. It's an inverse head and shoulder pattern. And the primary projection, if it targets that resistance up there, price could move as much as between 30 to 60 pips on Euro CHF. So it's a bullish one on the Euro CHF. And New Zealand JPY is the next one you asked. Yeah, so this instrument also has been ranging. That's why generally there's been a lot of range in the market in the last couple of weeks. All right, so price is just trading within the range. If it breaks out above the range, we buy. If it breaks out below, we'll sell. So we don't have any clarity on this until there's a breakout either above the range or below the range. That's for the New Zealand JPY. All right, the last one is Euro USD from Madam Manaji and Ken Odini. Now, since we have a bullish outlook on the USD CHF, then Euro USD will likely have a bearish outlook, and that's just it over there. For the Euro USD, price is trending downwards. Let's check it from the weekly, from the monthly time frame. You have a downtrend on the monthly time frame. You can see price trending down, making lower high, and there's a third point where we expect a further bearish movement. And taking it down to 1 hour, we can see price is clearly forming a head and shoulder pattern, shoulder, head, second shoulder, and will trigger a sell. So we're bearish on the Euro USD, we're bullish on the USD CHF. It's still the same pattern, but depending on the direction of each of the instruments. However, I will advise you wait for price to clearly break out below, this neckline region, which is a minor support for the Euro USD. RSI is already below 50, so that is already kind of taken care of. Just wait for a new candle to open below the support zone before you trigger a sell on the Euro USD. All right, that will be all for this morning. For those joining us, just I will repost the video so that you can watch and get acquainted with what we've done this morning. So take care and have a great day ahead. Bye bye.